Hey, it's Hack here with a video to show you how to create a 6'11 walking bucket build. Uh, I've been deep into the rabbit hole of 6'11, minimum wingspan, cap breaker, optimization. If you follow me on Twitter, you could see I've been posting about it for a few days. And, I've gotten some good advice from followers and used my own little methods of kind of adding, ratings, like looking into how it affects creating these builds. So I have some insights. It's impossible to pretty much figure out the entirety of this. So if you have some insights, please give me a comment, hit me up on Twitter. We can figure this all out. But this is by far two of the better methods to attack 6'11 minimum wingspan, Capbreaker optimization. Uh, so for the walking bucket build, let's get into it. Uh, we're going power forward 6'11, 212, 6'11 wingspan, which is all the way the least amount of wingspan, right? That's minimum wingspan. Uh, the low weight is it kind of limits your strength and stuff and rebounding, but you get the 68 speed with ball, which gives you bronze lightning launch, which makes you a much different offensive build. This is a straight up scoring build. If you want something that's defensive or more of a traditional power forward build, this is not it. This is uh this is about getting buckets. Um, so the speed with ball, I would say, is a deal breaker. That's the only way you could get the speed with ball, and that lightning launch you could take from bronze to gold with the +2 and really move. Really get into your shot creating bag and your slashing bag, and it really makes this build pretty lethal. Uh, so as we look at these ratings, a lot of these are negotiable. Um, with this method, it's basically you're gonna punt on block and rebound and cap break your way up from block and rebound to gain ratings elsewhere. Uh, there's a lot of options here, right? But the finishing is very good. Driving layup at 90, it gives you physical finisher on gold. Uh, you can actually cap break your way up to 95 and get that float game on Hall of Fame. 93 is layup McMaster on gold, so there's some flexibility there when you want to use your cap breakers, right? Driving dunk at 87 gets you the silver posterizer and contacts off of two, which aren't the best contacts, but they're contacts, right? Uh, Unfortunately, the short wingspan does kind of limit you with your driving dunk. Standing dunk 90. This is gold rise up. Very nice. Gets you a big man standing contacts. You could actually cap break this up to 95 if you want to and get that Hall of Fame standing dunk, which is crazy. Post control kind of gets neglected here. I'm not really investing in it, and when you look at the cap breakers, it only goes up +1. It would be nice to get the post fade phenom, but I mean, if you want post control, I guess you can work with bringing down layup or know, other items. Maybe pass if you're not into passing. Maybe bring this up, but it's kind of expensive. If you do bring this up to a 62, you can cap break to 67, which does give you post up poets on bronze. I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, maybe down the line when you have an insane amount of cap breakers. The shooting, you have to put the ratings in there. Does not cap break well when you limit when you have, especially when you're using a lot of cap breakers on block and rebound, right? Um, so this mid range is at 90. Your cap break this up to 93, I have the shooter specialization, so I'll put my two shooting specialization cap breakers there, and then hit one more so that I can get that Hall of Fame set shot, which is very clutch. 93 point will get you deep bomber takeover, which is one of the most OP takeovers in the game. Uh, Also, it's just above the silver limitless threshold, so that helps out. Um, Free throw. I know some people are touchy about free throws. I'm going with the 2K Lab formula. 65 is all you really need to start, hitting at a decent rate. Uh, 60. The way I looked at their stats is 65 or 83, and I'm just gonna go with the minimum I need. I don't shoot a lot of free throws in my experience playing. Uh, Leave that up to the guards. Uh, Pass accuracy 85. You could cap break this up to get to 87 to get that gold break starter. I really like 80 pass because of the takeover. Like um, the I'm drawing a blank. What's the name of it? Dishmaster. Yeah, Dishmaster is kind of nice. It's kind of slept on when it comes to a takeover. Um, 85 gets you Jimmy Butler passes, LeBron James passes. It's a pretty good rating. Uh, I mean, if you don't need that much pass. If it depends on what mode you're playing. I like having pass. This is a negotiable. You can move some ratings around, even though there's not much place to put it, unless you want to save some cap breakers on shooting. Maybe you can move it down, you know, and get some more mid range on there and save some cap breakers and put them elsewhere. Especially if you want to focus heavily and become like a finishing machine and get this to 95 and this to 95 and just be ridiculous. Uh, but I like this 85. Your cap breaks up to a 92. But if you want 93, you would move this up to an 86. But you do not get the walking bucket name. 85 is the highest pass accuracy you can set. You can set it to and keep the walking bucket name. The name changes if you put it up to an 86. Even though I really like 86 because you can cap break up to 93. If you don't care about the walking bucket name, I would suggest going to an 80, 86 and leave that option open to go up to a 93 so that you can get that Hall of Fame ring starter, right? Interior 82 is so that you can get the post lockdown on silver. Plus, it's just a decent rating to get some stops in the paint. You got the minimum wingspan. You're not, you only have 82 strength. You need something in case you get caught up in the paint. Um, 82 is decent. A lot of people use 70, 74, 74 bronze post lockdown. 70 is just enough to get you the paint patroller. Um, it depends on what you care about. This is definitely a negotiable. Um, Perimeter defense, you need a 72 to get immovable enforcer to silver, which is clutch for defending the perimeter at 6'11", since you do not qualify for on-ball menace. I have it at 73 because I had extra points and it was either that or free throw. And this will strengthen your hands up defense. So I'll take the extra point there. Steal, there's not much going on here. You get up to 67, but you one cap breaker and you get to 60 and you get bronze interceptor, which I plan on doing. Steel is very expensive, so this is the better method to get the bronze interceptor is just putting one cap breaker on here, and then you put another cap breaker if you want to, and you can get the bronze glove. Um, Glove is pretty useless, but you never know. At some point, it might be useful. Now this is where the cap breaking comes in, is the 63 block. Nobody wants 63 block. Um, but five cap breakers gets you 88 block, which is great for a high flying denier. You will get paint controller, um, and 88 block. I mean, max is 90 block, but there's, you don't really get any badges or anything. 88 is pretty good. So you will get, the high flying denier and paint patroller at a high level. Um, and this is when, this is the great equalizer, and this is what gets you the points in order to get all that finishing and shooting and be able to cap break into a more two-way build, right? Um, Offensive rebound, I know this is touchy. I don't care about offensive rebound like that. Honestly, if you're going to be outside and three-point range with that kind of shooting, um, you're rarely going to need to crash. I'd rather get back on defense. I might crash every once in a while and still grab. You can always sneak in some offensive rebounds. But I know some people that play twos or maybe even, threes. You might want some offensive rebound. I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much to me. But like I said, this, you can drop down interior defense. You can drop down pass. You can buy yourself some offensive rebound. It's pretty expensive. Um, yeah, so 74 defensive rebound with three cap breakers goes up to an 80, which is the max rebound. 80 is good for silver defensive rebound chaser. Um, and you can max plus your rebounding if that concerns you. 2K2s did a nice test, and the higher your rebound chaser, the more ratings it adds to your rebound. So, if you cap break up from, if you do a plus two, if that's what you want to do, it'll make you a decent enough rebounder to snag, especially with 80 vertical, you know. And you'll see the cap breakers for offensive rebound. Eventually, you could probably do something with that. Uh, this is, like I said, this is a negotiable here. This is probably like, I'm choosing interior, I'm choosing pass accuracy. Even, if you want to give up some of this layup, 80 layup will get you the Kevin Garnett, I mean, not Kevin Garnett, Kevin Durant layups. Um, and, it has 80 is a good value. You can go 81 standing dunk if you don't care about standing dunk like that and get the silver rise up instead of the gold. And then you can finesse yourself some more rebound if you want to. Um, and they have good cap breakers on rebounding. And physicals, it's time to max out speed and agility. Good to max them out. Um, like if you wanted, like get a 62 post control so you can cap break up, you can just drop that and you'll be all right. But I don't care about the post control like that. I don't plan on spending five cap breakers on it. But I could see a world where somebody would want it. I don't know. 82 strength is important for immovable enforcer silver. And that, like I said, that's the great equalizer when it comes to defending the perimeter. Since you do not have defensive menace because you're too tall. Um, it's a shame you can't get 83 with the 68 speed with ball because you can't get that silver brick wall. But these are the choices you have to make. If you don't care about lightning launch, all you really need is 55 to get Giannis dribble style, which gives you a nice boost. Uh, but I think you're selling yourself short as an offensive option without the lightning launch. But if you want to make yourself more of a hybrid, you could pretty much increase your weight, maybe get more rebound and more strength if that's what you choose. I wouldn't personally. 80 vert is good. It's just a good flat number. Um, it gets you pogo stick on gold. It also, you see that the high, it helps you with getting high flyer denier once you get your block up. to 88, you'll get that high flying denier on gold, um, which is clutch when it comes to chase downs, high flying denier. The blocks are pretty nice in this game. I really like the blocks. Um, so that's that. You got the vert at 80. You could get it to 83 for pogo stick on Hall of Fame if you like pogo stick like that. It's not a bad idea. Also, the vert helps you get the contact dunk animations for standing dunks and driving dunks. So there goes the explanation for these ratings. Like I said, there is wiggle room, and once you hit that go ahead and you have a walking bucket, the comparisons are kind of lame, but it's a really good name. Um, we can advance here, and I can show how the cap breakers look. Like in this instance, we'll skip straight to the draft, and then we'll go to check the cap breakers. I currently have five. Um, I should have, you know, I'm finishing up my specialization, so I'll have six there, and then the crew still has two more to get. So I think that six, the one of them is coming soon, so that'll be seven. And so I still have some work to do with collecting cap breakers, but they'll come in. Uh, so as you can see, you can upgrade your driving layup to a 95 if you want to, and go crazy with float game. 93 is pretty good too. Or you could just not move with it. That's perfectly fine. Standing dunk 95 can be crazy. Um, if that's what you choose to do. As you can see, you can only get post plus one on post control. Um, mid range, you definitely want to cap break to 93. I'll use my two from specialization and then an extra one. And you really want that set shot. If you don't like the free throw, of course you can upgrade this free throw substantially. Um, like I said, 83 would be the target personally. That's what I would suggest. 87 pass accuracy would be a must, in my opinion. If you have the 85, you might as well get the 87 and get that gold break starter so you can chuck it up court. Even though chucking it up court is pretty dangerous this year, that with Dishmaster, you'll get some pretty nice passes. So if you want to use the Dishmaster takeover and get glitchy with the 87, that'll be nice. So I would use here, one here, two, three here, all five of these to get to 88 block, right? Um, I would put one on steel to get to the 60 and get that bronze interceptor. And then you need three here. So the first thing I would do is put, three here and then, get these five in there. Use my two specialization. Well, let me see. How would I attack this? I'll put the three here, the three here, and then I'll start, I would put two here at least, and then like work my way up here. But those would be the focal points. Then I would just move on to this and this. But there's a lot of options here. Hopefully, I can grind out these cap breakers because this does depend a lot on, getting the cap breakers to really reach your full potential. But that's what cap breaker optimization is. Um, if you have less cap breakers available, I do have some nice templates there for less cap breakers. It's just less um, less powerful of a build, right? You get the cap breakers are what make this a crazy build. Like if you look at it, there's not a lot to be had via cap breakers, and I mean if you get all 28, this build is insane, right? But yeah, that's the walking bucket build. Like I said, there is some customization there, and while we're here, I can put y'all on to another way to cap break, um, the 6'11" minimum wingspan. As you can see, I've been doing a whole lot of testing this, and jumping in and out of my career to check the cap breakers. But there's this Shotty Racing Play Slash. I really like the Play Slash name, and it's basically all the same physicals, same height, same physicals. And this is a way to cap break all the way through shooting, right? So, we'll already max out our block and to 88 so that we can get that, that gold high flying denier in our silver paint controller, right? And then, the same physicals, our rebound is already up there, right? So all this is already set. It's basically the same pass accuracy and everything. So all the cap breakers go here. And you do get a little less finishing, like layup is a little touchy. If you want to go less pass, or you can go to 84 block and give up on high flying denier. Um, and you can just, settle for silver with the silver paint controller. And you can bring, like you can go ahead and bring this layup pretty high, you know. Um, 80 pass is kind of nice. So, you could do all this. Now, if you want the 90 layup, which is pretty nice, right? And then you could cap break your block for if you want to later on. Here's the deal breaker. If you don't have 68 post control, you cannot use the shooting cap breaker method. You need 68 post control. I originally had it at like 70 because you get the fade, the post fade. If you want the post fade, if you want post fade on gold, you need to have this at 69 and then cap break all the way to 79. You get plus 10 on this. Um, at its current iteration, you would only get 78, so you wouldn't get post fade, but you have to choose between this driving layup and this post control if you choose this method. Um, or you could cap break one and just leave that option open or something like that. But I personally, you know, I don't need that much layup. I get that gold float game by keeping this at 86, and you got some nice options there. And I'd rather have the 88 block to help me with the jump contests, and just to be able to get those blocks. Like you see, it is heavily customizable. You could change the pass accuracy. You cannot have if you put over 86 pass act, it changes your name. Your driving layup increase changes your name. I kind of like the play slash name. If that matters to you, the play slash name is probably one of the better names that I saw under this. Instead of having those like seven
Customizable
word names or
as you can get.
three level
I
or
mean,
all
you
that
can
stuff.
choose which ones you want, but this comes out
But a
as a
lot
shoddy
of the
racing
same goes
play
for this.
slash.
It's just
And as we get through these cutscenes that I've seen a million times doing this optimization stuff, we can take a look at the cap breakers and see the potential on this build. The finishing potential is definitely less than the walking bucket. So maybe the walking bucket does get more ratings, but this has less cap breaker necessity, right? So you can get up to 85 driving layup, which will give you the layup McMaster on silver. You want to make sure you max out your mid range to 93, right? So 5 there, 3 on the 3 pointer to get to the 93 pointer, right? And then you also have the option to get that 95 standing dunk, which is nice, and post control to 79 so that you can get that gold fade, post fade, 87 pass accuracy to get the gold break starter. Uh, Definitely want to get that steal to 60 because that bronze interceptor really helps. This game is very much uh, lanes are for the taking, right? So you want to definitely get that 60 and possibly that 67 for that bronze glove if that ever becomes more relevant. Right now it's not. Uh, so yeah, that's where we're at. Uh, Very good builds. Really like the 611 potential here. Thanks for coming to check out the video. I hope you enjoy. Make sure you hit that like. If you have any questions or if you need any suggestions, just hit me up. All right, thanks.